Hey, what is going on tonight? It is Saturday night. I don't know what everybody's out there doing, but I just had to share something so interesting today that something so interesting happened today that I just had to come online and share it with you all. And it's about me. You know, I never mind being transparent and being honest about me and how I am. And even if I have an ugly behavior, I know how to apologize and I know how to make things right. But at the end of the day, like when you know yourself, you have no choice but to be yourself. So, I'm thanking everybody for tuning in, and those of you that will watch the rebroadcast. But I just thought that it would just be interesting to share with you. So today I was attending this seminar, workshop, or whatever you want to call it. And we did this little test. It's kind of like the personality, similar to personality test, but this one was about communication style. So the instructor handed us this booklet, and we had to answer questions. We had to answer questions about how we would communicate. So wait a minute, I'm going to read the question because this is going to help you understand. So the question is, I generally, when resolving conflict with another party, my preferred approach is to. So throughout this whole, I think it was like 10 or 15 questions. Let me see. It was 18 questions. So with 18 questions, you had to go and answer the question, and the questions had to total a 7. So, for instance, one question read, maintain emotionally calm and stability. And the other answer was, allow my own emotions to come out when interacting with the other party. Well, where it said allow my emotions to come out when reacting with the other party, I put a 7. And on the other one, to remain calm, I put a 0. Another one, make sure to control strong emotions when interacting with the other party, or openly express my frustration and anger. Of course, there was a 7 near openly express my anger, my frustrations and my anger, and 0 for make sure to control strong emotions. So as I'm taking this little test here, just answering the questions very honestly, because these things only work if you're very honest. So then it came to the point where we had to do, a direct point of where, our totals kind of met. And what I found so funny on the little chart, I don't know where I put the little chart because I was going through the little book. On the little chart, you had to draw this line. And it only went up to, I'm trying to see if I can find it because you're going to find this funny too. Hey, Kim, I hope everything is going well with you. I'm surprised you're up late. So it says your intercultural conflict style. So the highest number on the direct or indirect side went up to 54. My being direct was off the chart. Didn't even have a number for my number, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. He was like, man, you're off the chart. I was the only one in the room that was off the chart. So then I had to look at my emotional expressiveness. So in my dynamic, and of course I'm dynamic, but according to this, and then my engagement. So when you put the two things together, my conflict style is emotionally expressive and engagement. So when you read the engagement style, it tells you, that I have a verbal and direct and confrontational approach. So when you read down, it says a little bit more. It says, so people who are in an engagement style typically see their own strengths. So this is how I see me. Provides detailed explanations, information, and instructions. So I am that way. I'm going to give you as much information as I possibly can because I don't like repeating myself. Freely express opinions. I agree. I freely express my opinion. I don't think that you should hold your thoughts in. I don't do things rudely, but put a pin in that right there. And then I show my feelings. So I show my feelings. And people that know me know that I am very, very honest about how I am. I tell you that I'm very direct. I tell you that I'm not a morning person. I tell you that I like things to be the very short version. When you walk away from me, you never, ever are confused about what I was trying to say. And I'm very intentional about that because I don't think it's fair that you dance around things with people and hoping that they try to figure it out. It's not fair to the other person that you're communicating with. And that is why I adopt that particular style. So here's what's so funny. So however, people from other styles may view the engagement style, which is my style, as unconcerned with the views and the feelings of others. So people think that I don't really care about how they feel or what they're thinking. I'm dominating and rude. I have heard that quite often. And uncomfortable with viewpoints that are disconnected from emotion. So taking this little test today, which was it was confirmation. It wasn't anything that was shocking to me because I already knew these things about me. But when I read how I see my communication style as being freely expresses opinions, on the flip side, another person sees that as dominating and rude. So I shared those points to read to you to kind of explain why I say being unapologetically me. As I stated, I'm very direct. I don't try to sugarcoat things, but just because I'm direct and I don't try to sugarcoat things does not mean that I'm intentionally being rude to you. But because other people have different styles of communicating, some forms of communicating, some people are accommodating. So an accommodating style don't really do well with me because I just can't handle people who are just overly accommodating. A discussion style, someone that wants to do this, and keep doing this, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm just like, ooh, ugh. Get to the point already. So I can see where I feel freely expressing my opinions is just getting it out there. And then someone who wants to do discussion or someone that's more accommodating, they could see me as dominating and rude. So, whenever we take these kind of tests to kind of pinpoint our dominant personality or our dominant way of communicating, the reason why I say to be I'm unapologetically me is because that's just me and that's just who I am. Now, here's where I need to lace that style with a little more compassion and a little bit more understanding. So whereas if I understand how a person is, or if I feel that my approach to them is going to be a little bit too harsh, a little bit direct, I know how to rein myself in and just say, you know what, I'm not going to talk to that person. I'll let someone else convey this information to them. Or sometimes when I sit in my administrative meetings with our principals, I sometimes have to say, okay, this is how I want to communicate this to the team or to the staff. This is what I want to do. This is how I would say it. How do you think I should convey it? That it does not come off as being offensive and it doesn't tune people out. Because although that's my direct style, you still want to make sure that people hear you. Because whenever people feel that you're not listening or you don't understand them, they tune you out. So the words you're saying are just wasted words. So while I do accept and embrace being unapologetically me, I do understand that other people see me as being dominating or rude or unconcerned with their viewpoint. And I tell people all the time, when they walk into my office, I could see them. They come in and they're like, well, can I ask you a question? And they start talking. And then I promise y'all, I'm telling you no lie. After 3 minutes, I'll look at them and say, can you please just give me the short version? I need the short version. Because if you give me the short version, I can process enough to know what I need to do. And then if I need to ask more questions, I will. But I'm very careful who I say that to. I make sure I kind of have a relationship with the person so that it doesn't shock them. I wouldn't say that to a very new person because they'd be like, oh my God, really? Did you just say that? But they get it because then they understand. So when I do that enough times, when someone comes into my office, they say, okay, I need to ask you something. I'm going to give you the short version. So they're adopting to my style, but at the same time, I have to understand when I'm communicating back to them that I have to understand how they will receive the information and how I need to give it to them. So to cap this off, we're all different styles of how we communicate. Our personalities are different. But it is so key for all of us to get along that we have to first understand the other person And then we can seek to understand. When I understand that a person that I'm getting ready to communicate with is very accommodating, I know that that person is just going to be kind of long and draining for me. I try to hit the points that already meet their way of communicating, if that makes any sense to you. I don't have an example to give to you without making this a very long video. So really the point that I wanted to make is don't get caught up and be worried about or be concerned about what people think about you or how they think that you are. And because when they make that statement, they're trying to make you be in a way that's more comfortable for them. I'll say that again. Someone is trying to make you be in a way that's more comfortable for them. So that's why they criticize your style or your behavior, because you're not acting the way that they want you to. But we're all different. And so by being different, we have to accept being different, and we need to accept the way that we are. We have to do things with temperance. I have learned to be a little more tempered. And if you don't think I'm tempered, ask some folks that have known me when I first moved to Charlotte, or ask some folks that went to school with me, or folks that grew up with me. They'll be like, this chick is straight chilled out compared to how she was a very long time ago. But I've learned to embrace who I am and how I am. And at the same time, by knowing that, if I'm very curt or rude and I know that I've hurt someone's feelings, or I know that I came out the wrong way, I have no problem apologizing. Thanks, Deb. Thank you so much. I have no problem apologizing. So that's where you show growth, and that's where people begin to embrace your style, when you can admit that you were wrong, or you can admit that you were out of line with them. But at the same time, they still must understand that, or I'll say for me, people still understand that I'm very stern, I'm very emphatic, I mean what I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. And there's just nothing left to be done after that, because it is just a wrap. And you will either embrace me or you won't. And there's no in between. And I don't try to meet people in the middle. And I think that's where we drain ourselves and we lose ourselves, because we're always trying to be in the middle. So we're in the middle, and then we're this way when we're with this person, and then then we get with people that really know us and accept us, we'll be ourselves. And then when we get around another group, we're on the middle because we're going to that side. That's a schizophrenic life. And I'm just using that term. I have no problem, it's no issue with people that have schizophrenia, because that's a real condition. But that thought pattern is like you're going back and forth. How can you really know who you are if you're going back and forth with who other people want you to be? So when I say I'm unapologetically me, that is not an egotistical statement. That's not willing to change. That's not even not being a Christian, because sometimes Christians will try to throw stuff at you. Don't come at me with that, because I make it clear. I roll with the Jesus that turns over tables. I roll with the Jesus that put folks out of the house when he was waking up that little girl. He was still Jesus. He still fed and loved on folks and healed on folks, but then he got real with you. That's the one I roll with. So don't try to say, well, that ain't very Christian to be. No, I'm being the way that God created me. And I don't make this stuff up. I cannot make up how I am. I just not that way. So anyway, just want to say to folks, because we're getting into the holiday season, and then, people go with family, and, they're going to different events, and then they feel like they got to put on this face. They have to put on this air. Well, no, you don't. You have to be yourself. Yes, it's me acknowledging who I am. And sometimes people are afraid of that. People don't want you to be who they are, because it shows them who they really are. How about you check that? So be unapologetically you. Be yourself, know thyself, and to thyself be true. Go ahead now. I know that's right. I roll with that Jesus too. I swear I have to tell people that all the time, because when I'm direct with some folks and they think that I'm being rude, they're like, oh, I thought you were a Christian. I am a Christian. But if you looking for the Jesus that, that's in that swaddling clothing and, was patting people on the head and, say, go thy and be healed. And, that's not me. There was a Jesus that got mad when the money changes. They was acting crazy and doing stuff and hurting people, and he had to deal with them. And, he got mad. Because remember, y'all, he was human too. So he had the same infirmities, the same issues, the same concerns, the same weaknesses that we had. So why do we act like Jesus didn't get mad and why Jesus wasn't direct? Because I'm quite sure that he probably did use some compound cuss words with them disciples because they were a hot mess. But see, they couldn't print that. And it's probably in one of them lost books. Y'all, they're lost books of the Bible. The Bible, the 66 is not all of those books. It's just not. So they just picked and choose what they were going to put in there. But I'm sure he cussed them disciples out a couple of times because they were crazy. They were crazy. So, but anyway, as we go into the holiday season, and I did a video yesterday encouraging people to reach out to people and not automatically assume because folks might be a little grumpy at this time of the year that they're just being grumpy. Sometimes people going through stuff in life. So I just want to use this as an opportunity, to make sure that, yes, we do extend ourselves and be intentional with reaching out to people, especially like our coworkers. We leave, some folks get off on Tuesday or Wednesday, and, everybody goes home to be with family and go shopping for the weekend. And then there are coworkers or church members or neighbors who are left who have nothing and no one ever checks on them, and they don't see or speak to anybody until the following Monday. We can't let that happen. We have to be better than that. But at the same time, for those of us who are going and spending time with family and being with family could be crazy. We get it. Everybody got a crazy family. Quit trying to act like your family is so wonderful and posting all these beautiful pictures. We love each other and we on vacation here. Stop it. Stop it. Everybody got some kind of issue. But my thing is, don't go to the table next week or hang out next week or travel and try to be something that you're not. Be yourself. God created you to be uniquely you. He created you to be uniquely you, so be uniquely you. And at the end of the day, be unapologetic to how he designed and created you to be. Because I can't be you. You can't be me. So don't try to be something in somebody else. So I hope you guys can take something from this. I just thought it was kind of funny that my score was off the chart. The guy laughed. Everybody in the room laughed. And people that know me, they were just cracking up. And they read my style. Now, they went and read my style before they read their own style. And they were just nodding. I'm like, yep. Oh, yeah, you are. Oh, my God. This thing is so, have you. Then I didn't even read the whole thing. They said, well, did you read the whole thing? I was like, no. They said, oh, you need to read it. I read it. And it was true. Smooch is back at you. And I embrace it. But at the same time, I still have to make sure I'm tempered with it. So, hey, you, go be you, make it a great one, and have a great evening. And thank you for sharing. And thank you for watching. And if you want to share this video, feel free. You can follow me on my page at straightup.com. Straight Up Communications is launching in January, where I am just going to get out there and, talk to companies, small businesses, churches, and whoever that need my services. Because I think people just want people to be honest, and I'm not sugarcoating anything. So smooches to everyone. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.